On July 15, 2013, Buck Blodgett lost his daughter Jessie to the violence of a friend. In this faith-based series, Buck shares the real-life experiences that followed Jessie's murder.
Welcome. If you've been here 20 years or 20 minutes, welcome. Part 4 of a 4-part series today called the F words: forgiveness, faith, fruitfulness, and today, fortitude, strength and resilience when life punches us in the gut. Part 1, forgive him, Father, based on my real life experiences with the peace that surpasses understanding, the amazing grace that overwhelmed me pretty much immediately after my daughter Jessie was raped and murdered by a friend, July 15, 2013. Not a crime of passion, but a planned execution. The scriptures, part 1 was based on, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Luke 23:34 and Luke 6:37, if you forgive, my Father will forgive you. If you don't judge, you won't be judged. If you don't condemn, you won't be condemned. By the measure we use, so is it measured to us. Love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you and who you hate. Pray for those who hurt you and who you hurt. Bless those who curse us and who we curse. Bless them. Part 2, the voice and the butterfly, also based on my real life experiences, this time with answered prayer. I used to call them signs. About 24 ridiculous, crazy, beautiful, amazing things that happened to me, my daughter's friends, my friends, and others in our community for about a year after Jessie was killed. Answers to a desperate, middle-of-the-night hotel room prayer the night after she was stolen from us. When a plea, really, to a God that I thought was talking to me, but I just couldn't believe he was really real. Things that changed my worldview forever, changed me forever, made me realize I've been missing something for 53 years. Made me realize there's more in this world than meets the eye, started my walk by faith instead of by sight, and turned this atheist into a believer. The scriptures, the voice and the butterfly was based on ask, and you'll receive. Seek, and you'll find. Knock, the door will open for us. Might not be what we want, might not be how we want, might not be the way we want, it might not be what we're expecting, we might even miss it. But ask and you will always receive in some way that forwards us on our spiritual journey, even if we don't like it or understand it at the time. Part 3, also, my sheep hear my voice and they follow. Part 3, the vine and the branches, also based on real life experiences of mine, of the crazy slow motion explosion, 6-year expansion now of Jessie's legacy, the Love is Greater Than Hate project. I'm the vine, Jesus tells us. You're the branch. Whoever remains in me and I in them will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Whoever remains in me, remember the old use in Jesus' time of the word remains and the ancient art of grafting and horticulture from last time? Whoever remains in me, whoever sticks with me, whoever stays with me, whoever binds tightly to me, grafts themselves to me, will bear much fruit, will have a louder voice, a further reach, a bigger impact, footprint for good in this world than ever before. Apart from me, you got nothing. Apart from me, Buck, you got no game. Apart from me, the branch withers and dies. Apart from me, you can expect to accomplish what we would think is naturally possible for you. But with me working through you, in you, for you, with you by your invitation, by your request, because I'll wait patiently forever until you ask. With me working in you and through you, we can accomplish the unexpected, the supernatural. I'm the vine, Jesus tells us. Remember the best grapes in the Holy Land, and all the other farmers with the inferior quality specimens wanted theirs to be like that one. And so they took a cut branch. You take your cut end, you take your wounded end and give it to the vine, to the superior specimen with the superior qualities and characteristics, and bound tightly together. And the binding in the world of horticulture and grafting is with twine. The binding in the world of people and Jesus is time. We got to spend time together, bound tightly with him. And when we do, we'll absorb and take on more and more and more the superior qualities and characteristics of the great teacher. And what are those? The deep love, the amazing grace, the peace that surpasses understanding, the patience, the self-control, the goodness, the fruits of Spirit, forgiveness, faith, fruitfulness, which brings us to today, fortitude, strength when life punches us in the stomach, resilience in the face of tragedy and trauma, the ability to get up again when life knocks us on our butt, and then again when it knocks us on our butt again and again and again, and not just to survive life, but to find in the struggle, to find in all the pain and the loss and the challenges and the trials and the difficulties of life, to find the peace and the profound joy and the deep love. Thank you, Father. Isaiah 12:2, you, the Lord, is my strength and my song, my happiness. Psalm 46:1, you are my strength and my refuge. I want to start by sharing this morning with you guys something that I hear a lot. I hear it a lot, over and over and over, for 6 years now since Jess was stolen from us. It's the number one thing people say to me. I've heard it hundreds of times in the past 6 years, and it's this: Buck, you're so strong. Can't believe you forgave your daughter's killer. I could never do that. You're so strong. Buck, I can't believe you get up there, you talk openly about Jessie's rape and her murder over and over and over again. You're so strong. I could never do that. So I have two thoughts about that. I believe they came from him. I believe I'm supposed to share them. I believe he reminds me of them pretty much every day because he knows what a loser I am and I need to hear it over and over and over, and I'm almost 60 now and I can't remember anything anymore. But I got your name, Cody and Kelsey. Finally. And the first thought is, no, I'm not. I'm weak. By the way, this isn't just for me. I'm weak. You're weak. I am completely broken. I am utterly fragile. And now I'm guessing probably a lot of you are thinking, I'm trying to be humble and I want to now share more with you to show you that this is not humility, this is facts. Life showed me 6 years, 2 months, and 7 days ago now just how completely fragile I am, when in one phone call, the phone call Joy made to me, when she came home for lunch, about 12:30, called up to Jessie, no answer. Called up again, still no answer. Walked up the stairs, a little irritated now because Jessie had a 6-year-old coming to our house for piano lessons. Why wasn't she ready yet? Walking up the stairs, Jessie goes across her bedroom, reaches out, unresponsive, cold, rolls her over, blue. Little red dots all over her face, petechia from exploded blood vessels, from lack of oxygen, strangulation. She does CPR. She calls 911. They tell her, pull Jessie out on the floor, continue CPR till we get there. She does. 5 minutes later, EMTs arrive. They take over for Joy, and the first thing she does is she calls me, and I get the phone call at work. And in one phone call, I found out how fragile I was. After 53 years of building a life, 53 years of doing life Buck's way, of constructing my life, by my operating principle, my credo, if it is to be, it's up to me. Now that's a good credo, right? That's a pretty good one. If it is to be, it's up to me. There's a lot of self-responsibility in that one. There's a lot of work ethic in that one. A lot of ownership. That's a good one, right? If it is to be, it's up to me. And I did pretty good at that. I think those of you who know me for a long time would say that I probably maxed out on what you thought was naturally possible for me, given my level of self-esteem and skill set in life. You know, I got a good wife. I got a good kid. I got a brilliant, talented, amazing, giant-hearted, gentle-hearted, passionate, old soul kid. Ahead of her years. I got a humble little house on a hill, giant yard, 100 trees, 38 big oaks and maples, 140-foot freshly paved driveway with 3 cars in it, one for each of us. I had a practice that fulfilled me, that, patients who loved me. Joy had a practice that fulfilled her, patients who loved her. I probably did the very best that I, with my skill set and self-esteem, could have with if it is to be, it's up to me. And in one phone call, came down like a house of cards. Came crashing down. Just like that. House of sand. Now, some of you still think, because I know this because you've said this to me, Buck, you were always strong. This just brought it out in you. I think you know who you are who said that. And I love you for that. And I appreciate more than you know the encouragement and the support I've gotten for 6 years here. But not true. And I can prove it quick and easy this way. 53 years. Nobody ever said that. Nobody. Think about that. That's over a half a century of living. Not one person that I can ever remember said to me, "You're so strong." For 53 years. Not one. Okay, in the interest of full disclosure and perfect honesty, there might have been one. I was always the smallest kid in school. Mom knew this. She knew my muscles were this big. She knew Honesty was at the top of Mom's value list, but only love was higher. She would only lie for love. But aside from Mom, no one, ever. And now I hear it over and over all the time. What changed? Did I change? Did I suddenly become Superman when my daughter was raped and killed? I don't think so. I want to suggest to us this morning that when people say those things about me, it's not what they see now, but who. And I want to further suggest to all of us this morning that when people say those things about you, when people just can't help but acknowledge and verbalize the things they see in you that they love, that they respect, that they admire, your gentle heart, your generosity, your talent, your goodness. I want to further suggest to us that it's not what they see, but it's who. And I finally want to suggest to all of us this morning that the who that it is that they see, that they don't know as a who, has always been there and always will be there. In my case, for 53 years, just waiting patiently. Because what's 53 years in eternity? Just waiting for the perfect moment. The moment when I, for the first time ever, would be so broken and for the first time ever completely humble myself and ask and seek and knock. Thank you, Father. So the two questions of the day for this message about strength. Where does it come from? Where does real strength come from? Not puffed up strength, not me trying to be strong strength, not human determination strength. Where does real strength, real resilience, the ability to handle anything that life could possibly throw at us, anything, and still be in a state of peace and joy, where does that come from? Where does that strength, real strength, come from, number one? And number two, how do I get it? How do I get me some of that? When I really need it, especially, how do I access it? Where does strength come from, and how do I find it? How do I let it find me? "15 months after Jessie was murdered, the trial came, the trial went. The gag order was lifted, I could finally talk. We held it in for 15 months. I could finally talk. I could finally launch her legacy project that I thought was something that was supposed to happen. One of the first things I did was I called Hartford Union High School, and I pressed 3 for the principal's office. And Beth answered. She's Principal Dan Dobner's secretary at Hartford Union High School. And I said, "This is Buck Blodgett from the Love is Greater Than Hate project." I was actually holding, a real phone, like not my cell phone, but my back office cord, "This is Buck Blodgett, Love is Greater Than Hate project. Is there any chance, could I please get an appointment, just a really short one, with Principal Dobner, please?" Now, if it is to be, it's up to me, Buck would have never made that phone call, because I already would have known what the answer was. The answer, of course, was no. Because Dan Dobner's a great guy, but how many people ever babysat? He has 1,400 teenagers, Monday through Friday, all day long. 2,800 parents to deal with. 120 staff members to lead. Who knows how many federal regulations to meet? How'd you like your boss to be the superintendent of schools and the school board? That's Dan Dobner's job. But I wasn't, if it is to be, it's up to me anymore. I was being worked on. I was being transformed slowly. I'm still being worked on. I'm still being transformed. You're still being worked on. You're still being transformed till the day we leave these bodies. What a beautiful, wonderful thing. Thank you, Father. Because I don't like who I was. I like who I'm becoming. Where was I? So I didn't get a no, so I made that call. And because now I'm trying to become, I'm yours, Jesus, use me. So I made the call, and I didn't get a no, I didn't even get a yes, I just got patched straight through to Principal Dobner. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how easily doors open sometimes when Jesus gets involved? So a week or so later, I'm walking into Hartford Union High School. I sit down in Dan Dobner's office, and I say, "Dan, I got a story in me. I got a message in me. I think I'm supposed to share it with kids in schools everywhere. I think I'm supposed to start right here at Jessie's school, Hartford Union High School." He looks right at me, doesn't bat an eye, doesn't flinch, looks right at me and says, "Okay." Just like that. We chat about it for a minute or two. He says, "Give me a couple days, let me get back to you." School now has 2 basic categories of curriculum: math, reading, science, social, emotional. Yours fits in that thing, Buck. We do most of that stuff in our freshman health classes. Let me talk to the schedulers of our freshman health classes, and I'll get back to you soon, and we'll see which freshman health class we can get you into to talk to the kids. If it is to be, it's up to me, Buck. Would have slinked out of Dobner's office with my tail between my legs, just kind of surprised and happy, probably, that he let me talk to anybody in his school. But I was being worked on. I was being transformed. So I didn't do that. I said, "Dan, this message isn't for 20 kids in a freshman health class. This message is for every single kid in this school, and also for every single faculty member in this school. Is there any way we could do a school-wide assembly?" Pretty please? Big smile. Dobner looks right at me, doesn't bat an eye, doesn't hesitate. I'll tell you what he didn't say. He didn't say no. He didn't say, You know what? Wow, I'm up for that. Are you up for that? Are you? You're not a professional speaker. You don't have a track record. You're a chiropractor. You're just a dad who wants to do something. Are you sure you're up for that? Who are you? He didn't say that. He didn't say, let me talk to the school counselors. They're really the experts with bullying and dating violence and sexual assault. Didn't say that. Didn't say, let me clear it with my boss, the superintendent of school. Didn't say any of that stuff. Looked right at me and said, yes. Just like that. Isn't it funny how easily and wide doors open sometimes when Jesus gets involved? Isn't it crazy? Doors that were slammed shut, tight, locked, and bolted in your mind. Doors you didn't even see because you just thought it was a wall. You didn't even see an opening there. Isn't it amazing when Jesus gets involved? I walk out of Hartford Union High School that day, probably an inch off the ground, I don't have much vertical, that's about all I got, about an inch. On cloud nine, back in the presence of the great okayness, the peace that surpasses understanding, the amazing grace. Went out of the school into the parking lot, hopped in my car, drove out of the parking lot, Hartford Union High School, got onto the road, and it hit me. You just signed up. You who hates public speaking. You who's terrified of public speaking. You who gets nervous for days if you got to do a little presentation for 10 people. You just signed up to do a presentation in a public school in an echoey, noisy, huge gymnasium for 1,400 teenagers and their cell phones. What are you thinking? What are you doing? Not only 1,400 teenagers and their cell phones, but also 120 staff members, some of whom are experts in this field. Who are you? You don't know nothing. You're a chiropractor. You don't know. Who are you? They're going to eat you alive. You know where those words came from? I had yeah, you do, don't you? Those words come to us all day long in different forms, don't they? The words of the world, the words of the bad guy. I had the good fortune of meeting several professional speakers a couple months before the trial, and they were really helpful. I learned a lot from them. They tried hard to help me. I don't even know why, like all of you do. And one of them, the best one, the one they all kind of admired most and looked up to, he's a former drug addict, reformed, recovered, and he went into schools talking about drugs. He was amazing. He said, don't do school-wide assemblies. They're going to eat you alive. So, you know what God said to me when I left that meeting? He said, don't listen to that. He said, you listen to me. He said, he doesn't know who you are. He doesn't know who I am. And he most definitely has no idea what I'm getting ready to do through you and Jessie. You don't listen to anybody but me. Wow, I'll follow a leader like that. I don't know about you guys. I'll go through, well, look at me. I'm not going through any walls, but I'll try. Then you know what God says? I don't want to, I'm talking about the still small voice, right? It's in every one of us. He says, Buck, you listen to everybody. Everyone. No exceptions. Everyone with an open heart, an open mind, an open will, and open eyes. And then you come and let's chat about it. And then you follow me. God, I wish my dad would have talked to me that way. I am not remembering what God said to me. You ever been there? I'm remembering what the professional speaker said to me. They're going to eat you alive. What did you just do? Who are you? What did you just sign up for? And I'm driving down the road and it occurs to me, so this is how it's going to happen. This is how I'm going to die. I'm going to drop dead of a heart attack in front of 1,500 people on the gymnasium floor at Jessie's school. That's how it's going to happen. A couple weeks go by, just a couple weeks out from the event now. The big day, the big presentation, and I start having trouble getting to sleep at night. And a little more time passes, and it's just a few days out now. And I'm starting to wake up in a cold sweat. And then the big day comes. And I go to Hartford Union High School an hour and a half early because I just know something's going wrong. And I do what they taught me. I go into the gym, I get familiar with my surroundings, I imagine the kids coming in an hour and a half. I check the PowerPoint, the laptop, the projector, the screen, I check the volume on the video, everything's perfect. 10 minutes, boom, done, ready to go. Now I got an hour and 20 minutes to kill. Tip for you aspiring professional speakers, don't give yourself too much time to think about it. So I just know I got to get out of my head, man. I'm just sitting there in the gym alone, just waiting an hour. I got to get out of my head. So I look around, I go out of the gym. There's a kid standing in the hallway. Probably shouldn't have been there. Class is on. He's the only kid in the hallway. I go and chat him up. Because, when you're scared, you're thinking about yourself. Fear not. We got to get out of fear and into love and think about others and the right thing to do, right? So, but then I go and find another kid, and then I go find a teacher because I'm just scared and thinking about myself. Chat them up too. I go into the principal's office, talk with the secretaries for a while, talk with Principal Dobner for a while. I look up, and there's 30 minutes until the bell's going to ring, and that gym is going to fill up with 1,400 teenagers and their cell phones. And it's going to be my job to hold their attention for a half an hour, to capture their young hearts and minds and win them to our cause, and to say something that's going to change the way they think forever. So now I just freak out. Just panic mode. How could I ever get that done? Only one could get that done. So I go to Beth, the secretary. Is there like a conference room, Beth? I got to get my thoughts together. She takes me to a little private conference room, and I just know I need to sit and spend some time and talk to God. But I can't, because people keep coming. They want to meet me. They want to give their support and their encouragement. And I look up again, and there's 10 minutes until the bell's going to ring. And all of a sudden, the people stop coming. And I'm alone. And I close the door, and I sit down to talk to God. And it starts something like this. I can't do this. Get me out of here. You ever been there? Bail me out. Some miracle. Get me out of here, Father. And then it morphs into, I can't do this alone. I need you. I need help. Help me, Father. Help, help, help. I'm yours. Use me. Your words, your will, your way, Father. Please. And then I just fall silent and try to listen and try to hear the still, small voice. And it comes. And it says, fear not. It says, you got this. We got this. Because I got this. And it says, Buck, you know now, after 15 months of this, you know, not only do I go behind you, not only do I go alongside you, holding your hand every step of the way, even though you're never aware of it, not only am I in front of you opening the way, I will open their ears and I will open their hearts. Not only that, I am in you. Do you still not get it? You are my temple. My spirit lives in you. 1 Corinthians 3:16. We have the creator of the freaking universe in us, my friends. What are we afraid of? And then it goes to, Buck, I gave you a life event. I gave you a message to do my work in this world. I gave you a platform. You just go out there and you be your broken, busted up, unprofessional speaker self. And you just tell Jessie's story. Just share Jessie with people. And I look up now, and there's 2 minutes till the bell's going off. And I have gone from, I can't do this, get me out of here, to, I can't wait to just go out there and be my broken, unprofessional self and share Jessie with the world. I have gone from, let me out of here, to let me at 'em. That's transformation, my friends. Conform no longer to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Conform no longer to the thought patterns that this world put in your head. Start to hear who I say you are, not who everybody else says you are, what the world says you are, the media, your parents, blah, blah, blah. That's transformation. That was the renewing of my mind. Where does strength come from? Where did my strength come from? You are my strength and my song, my happiness. You, Father, God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, one being, three forms. You are my strength and my refuge. My refuge. I needed that room, didn't I? God didn't need that room. I needed that room because of my limited human ability to hear the still small voice. I'm just a neophyte, getting better at that. I needed that room, that quiet room. But that room was not my refuge. God was my refuge. My friends, you need your home, but your home is not your refuge. God is your refuge. You need your family, you need your friends, and they need you, but your family and your friends are not your refuge. God is our refuge. Those of you who love your work like me, you go to work and you get lost in your work. Your work needs you, and you need your work, but your work is not your refuge. God is our refuge. Where does strength, real strength, come from? The Lord is my strength and my refuge. Where does it come from? How do I get it? Isaiah gives us the answer to that too. Isaiah 30:15. In quietness, I needed that room. Maybe you need the woods. Maybe you need church. Maybe you need a little room at your house. Maybe you need, I don't know what, your car on the way to work. We need to carve out a place and a space so that we can hear the still small voice on a regular basis, yes? In quietness, time spent alone with him, and confident trust. I put my confidence in him because I didn't have any in me. I put my trust in him because I didn't have any in me. I said, your words, your will, your ways, Father. In quietness and confident trust is my strength. Not here. Here. And if that pathway isn't good enough for you, if that one doesn't do it, Isaiah gives us another one. 40:31. Those who hope in the Lord. Hey, young people. You know how us older people start to look old? You know, the gray and the wrinkles and the little hitch. It's just starting with me, but you don't walk like you used to. You know why? Because you know how life beats us up and beats us down? Well, sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Don't kill the messenger, but it keeps happening. And it will keep happening over and over and over. In this world, we will have trouble. But fear not. But it keeps happening, and you know, it happens long enough, and you get the gray, and you get the wrinkles, and you get the little hitch in your giddy up. But even youths grow weary and tired, and young men stumble and fall, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They'll run and not grow weary. They will walk and not grow faint. Where does real strength come from? You. And how do I get it? In quietness, confident trust, placing our reliant, dependent confidence and trust, our faith and our hope in him. Now, as Freddie comes up, I know I've talked a lot about me and Jessie in this 4-part series. I'm kind of new at this. Please forgive me. I'll try to get better at that. But I think I'm supposed to, at least for this series anyways. But I hope you're doing the homework. I hope you're connecting the dots. I hope you're listening actively, not passively, not just watching a show. I hope you realize that these scriptures, these spiritual truths, the power in them is not just for a guy who's afraid of a presentation. They are for any and every situation you could ever possibly encounter in this life. Anything. I hope you realize if you can't pay the bills. I hope you realize if you just can't fix your marriage, hard as you try. If your kid isn't listening to you anymore and they're going down the wrong path. I hope you realize if you have a disease, if you have an injury, if you have anxiety or depression, or if you're just tired of life. I hope you realize that the Lord is my strength and my song and my refuge, and in quiet, confident trust, placed in him, is my strength. Amen?
Jessie's killer is serving a sentence of life without parole. Jessie's story, message, and mission has reached tens of millions on 5 continents. Be the change.